Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me here. Walter, once again, at the workbench. And I did sharpen the number 5.5 iron so that it has more camber to it. What the camber will do for you is it gives you these fuzzy edges at the end, meaning that it'll plane to a certain point and then it'll stop planing. Okay? That way you don't get what we call plane tracks. So this piece of cherry has some unusual markings and character to it. Let's just run the 4.5 over it. Give it one last polishing. I'll show it to you. I hope you're having a great day. Weather's getting cooler. I have to have some repairs done in the house to our heating system. They're coming tomorrow, so tomorrow is going to be a hectic day. So this piece of cherry has some interesting markings throughout. And what they are is because this is quarter grain. I don't know if you can see it in the end grain. There it is. If you have a little tiny knot in the center of the tree, it's going to try to grow its way out until it stops. This one was up, well, it's actually under here. So it's under the surface here, and it's showing up right here. But it's a beautiful piece of wood. These dark lines are what we call sugar. And I don't know if it's from some sort of a trauma to the tree, but all I could see with doing with this piece is probably flipping it over, making this the face side, and then ripping it to where that sugar is gone. And that would give me a nice, beautiful piece right here. So that's about it for that. Now, on to a bit of metallurgy. And I'm going to try to make this quick because I have a point that I'm going to get to. Cast iron tools. Like I said, I'm not a metallurgist. But basically, cast iron is iron. They can add some other metals to it to create different properties in the cast iron. So you've heard of gray cast iron and ductile cast iron. And there's probably all sorts of grades. It always amazed me when you look at some of the old tools, especially hand planes, how thin the castings were. And yes, gray cast iron, if you hit it hard on something or with something, it will break. You drop it on concrete, you hit it with a hammer, it will break. Ductile cast iron, on the other hand, bends. Okay, it'll absorb shock better. So if you go up to Lee Nielsen in Maine, in their showroom, they have a little 60.5 plane, I think it was, that they put under hydraulic pressure and actually bent it, and it was cast iron. So to prove that they're ductile. Now, I always thought, growing up, that cast iron being so brittle and hard, because I watched my dad break cast iron pipes and break cast iron radiators and pipe fittings that were cast iron. I watched him do it. It never occurred to me that it's a material, and all material has a bending movement. Okay, everything can bend. I don't care what it is, it can bend. Maybe not very far, like glass, it can't bend much before it breaks, but you look at these high rise skyscrapers, they take a lot of wind load and they don't break. Until one day I started thinking, okay, we see little dings on the side of our planes. And sometimes we see a name stamped in the side of the plane, or a model number like Miller's Falls, they stamped in on the side of their plane. So I got to thinking, I said, well, then it's got to be soft enough to indent. But that was after I used my table saw as a workbench for years as a young boy. I've had this table saw with me. This tool is the only, well, no, there's another one. No, this is the oldest tool that has been with me everywhere I have moved. It's the only one. I don't even have my original toolbox. I don't have my original hammer. The closest thing I have is an original hand plane that's tucked away because it's no longer suitable for use. It probably never was, but it was what I had. So when you use your table saw, which is cast iron top, now this is old cast iron, this isn't the modern stuff. You look at the tabletop and it's got all these little dings in it. Okay, you take a steel hammer, this is brass, but if you take a steel hammer and you come down on a corner on a piece of wood, you leave a ding. Well, you do the same thing to your cast iron top, you're going to leave a ding. I really learned my lesson one time when I was using a portion of my table saw right here, stupidly, as an anvil. And this area here is dinged and dished. So, here's the educational part of the video. Number one, there is a difference between gray cast iron and ductile cast iron. And number two, do not use your table saw, your bandsaw, your drill press, your jointer, or any cast iron machine surface, your lathe, as an anvil. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder how I even made it to be this old. One other little caveat. I don't know if you have noticed this, but the old cast iron tools, as you use them, you have oils on your hand, you sweat, whatever, you wipe them down with oil and you keep using them and they get a patina. The modern ductile cast iron tools, and I'm not going to mention any names because they're all using this ductile cast iron now, rust quicker. I mean, I saw a plane on eBay. I'm not going to mention the brand name of one of the top makers in the United States. It was not only rusted, it was pitted. And the company itself is not all that old. So, there's that little tidbit as well. So for now, that's about it. I'm going to head inside and put my feet up, get this video uploaded. I hope you've had a great day. I wish you all the best. Thanks for stopping by. Like, subscribe, and share. Walter out.